Hi everybody. So I'm going to talk about the 23rd Psalm and its impact on my life, and the life of Carol, being Carol there, my darling wife. So I've written it and I'm going to read it, because if I tell the story I'll wander. I'm already wandering and I ain't started. So I'll read it. Psalm 23 is the psalm. The Psalms, as we've just seen, are songs, they're poetry. God speaking to the people of his world. Psalm 23 has been very significant throughout my life. At 17, seeking the meaning in life, I became a romantic atheist, reading philosophy, beginning with Kierkegaard and Jean-Paul Sartre, and on to existentialism. It was, after all, the 70s. Carol and I met when we were teenagers. We married and had our first child, Sharon. We lived in Basingstoke in Hampshire, sharing our home with Richard, a recovering alcoholic, and his 17-year-old girlfriend who had significant psychiatric problems. It's something we've done all our lives since this, greeting people. Then a close friend of mine, Digby John Spencer Horlock, became a Christian. And he was the first Christian I'd ever met. Digby's life changed. He told me all about knowing God through Jesus, told me lots of times actually. Something real had happened though to him, and I began to ponder on this, but could not ever even imagine believing in God or having faith. But in my heart, I did begin to reach out. Late one evening, with the house all quiet and sitting close with Carol, I had an epiphany, an encounter with God. As I began to reach out, I hesitated, not least because I knew if the door did open to a life in Jesus, then everything in my life would change. I now felt frightened. Carol was sitting alongside me, but I was saying nothing to her about what was going on in my heart. I hesitated, filled with fear, and at that moment she put an arm around me and said to me, "Don't be afraid." So in that moment, I gave my life to God, reaching out to Jesus, and it was profound. The gift of faith, and it was the beginning of a new life. My first action was to find among my many books an unread Bible that my mother gave to me when I was 10 years old, had the date in it. I felt compelled to read something in it, but where to start? I'd heard of the 23rd Psalm, so I found it and began to read. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures and leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. The whole psalm was profound and very personal. God speaking to me. Our life changed in that moment. In the days that followed, Richard and Jenny gave their lives to Jesus, as did our young daughter Sharon. We told our neighbours too. I think I drew a big word Jesus in the kitchen so that everybody in the square could see it. It was the 70s. So we told our neighbours too. It was weeks later that we went to church for the very first time. It was a Baptist church in the town. We told them about our finding faith, that we'd become Christians, not Baptists, but we'd become Christians. And we began to meet with Christians living nearby where we lived. They were from the church, but had, coincidentally, planned to start meeting during the week in their homes. For the church, it was a seemingly radical development. So we were the guests at the first ever house group. They were very supportive people there with us. A few weeks later, we had our second child, Matthew, and he died aged 3 weeks. 3 months later, our daughter Sharon, 3.5, died. She was 3 years old and had an asthma spasm and stopped breathing in my arms. In that profound, painful loss, Carol and I felt really close to God. And in a strange way, in our grief, we feared no evil and felt comforted, really comforted by God. The new house group of local Christians were amazingly supportive too. It was such a challenge for all of us. Later in our life, we went on to have 4 more children. The first being Daniel, or Dan, as some of you may know him, who is now 53 years old. And he runs the board games evenings on Mondays at MLBC, if you want to go and have a chat with him. And his wife Sarah helped set up food banks in Wandsworth. And they live round the corner here. Our 4 children and 9 grandchildren all live nearby. We are a very, very close family, and we are very, very blessed. So Psalm 23 is our lived experience. God with us, even in the valley of the shadow of death. So if you'd like to just kind of stay seated, and I would like to play us this psalm sung, and for us to think about God's grace and about his love that is for each of us. The Lord is for each of us. The Lord is your shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. So we're going to, Benjamin, if you can start the song up.
The Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He makes me lie in pastures green. He leads me by the still waters. His goodness restores my soul. Let's just sing that verse again so we all get it. The Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He makes me lie in pastures green. He leads me by the still